Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nathan.
Welcome to episode 68 of Adventures and Mousecapades.
This week, we're going to take a break from our Disney Wish content to talk about how it took nearly 3 hours for Disney to figure out they needed to put their online purchase queue in place when annual pass sales went live the other day for Disney World. In related news, I'm still tired.
Thank you for doing that.
That was an early morning, man. Holy cow.
Yes. And now we have annual passes again, finally. Oh my God.
Yay! Never going to let these expire because I don't want to go through this morass again.
Exactly.
So it was a nice perk of being DVC owners. We were able to get Sorcerer passes a week early. So yay!
Yes. Today, actually, we are going to do a really quick quarterly Disney report for Q1 2023, stuff that happened Disney related January through March.
Indeed, this is our Microsoft rhythm of business, if you will. We like doing quarterly reports, so guess what you're getting? We're going to do kind of a news rundown of what's been going on in the wonderful world of Disney over the last few months.
It's the Disney Entertainment QBR.
That's right, except this is a QDR. It is the quarterly Disney report.
Yes.
So first up, what you got, Alicia?
First up, happy birthday, Disney.
Yeah.
100th anniversary of the creation of, I think it was Walt Disney Studios.
Uh-huh. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. This is the second verse. It's shorter than the...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually learned that from Theo, I believe it was, on our westbound Panama Canal cruise back in 2013.
Eons ago.
Man, that was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow, that just hit me. Anyhow, happy birthday, Disney.
Yes, happy birthday, Disney. They started off January 27th, 100 years ago.
And we have had the Alice comedies and Oswald the Lucky Rabbit hit public domain earlier this year.
Yes.
And, obviously, as everybody has known, because they have seen Oswald everywhere now. No, that hasn't happened.
We've seen Oswald.
We
did
have
the
seen
character meet and
Oswald.
greet with him.
That was pretty cool. That was
That
so
was cool.
unexpected.
So do you think we're going to see in Oswald the Lucky Rabbit horror film, just like they've done with Winnie the Pooh and Blood and Honey?
Maybe. That does seem like a very compelling thing to put together in the theater. So
Yes.
yeah, maybe you could do a crossover. You could do Oswald meets Winnie the Pooh as kind of the next iteration of that franchise, because obviously everything these days in media is a franchise.
Yes. So like a Mortal Kombat between Oswald and Winnie. Yeah.
More blood, more honey.
So with Disney coming along with the 100 Years of Wonder and Disney World having the 50th anniversary, the 50th anniversary has come to a close at the end of March.
Finally, just like everybody else. I mean, Disney celebrates its birthdays for 18 months.
18 months, yeah. We're starting to see 100th stuff land in the Florida parks as well as the Disneyland parks. I think they started with Disneyland
they did.
quite a bit earlier.
They did, yes. It's good to see. I actually think a lot of the merch that I've seen online is way more interesting than what we saw for the 50th.
Yeah.
The iridescent stuff and the stupid blue icing on the cinnamon rolls. That was, I don't know who thought all that was a great idea, but it wasn't. It wasn't at all.
I'm sure it still tasted good.
No. Well, I mean, it was okay. The cinnamon rolls were too dry, but
We'll
anyhow,
have to try it again.
we digress.
Yes. So along with the end of all the 50th anniversary stuff in Walt Disney World, we saw a couple of nighttime spectaculars end as well. And that was Disney Enchantment at Magic Kingdom and Harmonious at Epcot. And coming back is Happily Ever After and Epcot Forever for a limited time only. And these happened, they came back on April 2nd, which is literally the day that we flew home from our visit.
Continuing in our long line of things that Disney does right after we visit. So I liked both of those two shows. Harmonious was okay. I like Epcot Forever a lot better. Veggie, fruit.
Yeah.
But I will not miss at all those stupid barges, the tacos that they've put in the middle of the World Showcase Lagoon in Epcot for the Harmonious show. Those are being removed and dismantled. May they never return. That was a horrible thing to do to that park.
Well, it didn't quite meet what they were wanting it to do. They had high expectations for it, but did not execute on what those were supposed to look like and do during the day when it's not doing the showcase.
Right. They were supposed to, quote unquote, disappear, so you didn't even realize they were there.
Yep.
Yeah, right. You have these big, huge, honking black tacos floating out in the middle of the water. I don't know how they thought that was going to disappear.
I don't know.
Anyhow, good riddance to bad rubbish.
There you go. We had a couple of ride openings happen.
Yeah.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opened at Disneyland on January 27th. It's pretty much the same exact ride layout as the one in Hollywood Studios in Florida, but the queue to get in is totally different.
And this queue looks absolutely amazing. We've seen some videos online, and the amount of callbacks and pseudo memorabilia. They basically have like costumes from cartoons, and they have the what is it from the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, like the big robot thing that was down in the basement.
Is that the Mouse-Gadeur?
Yes, that's it. Or no, was that the little floaty circle thing?
No, it's not Toodles.
That's right. Toodles and the Mouse-Gadeur is the big.
Yeah.
Hi. We had a toddler in the middle of the 2000s. Can you tell?
It's basically, it's a history of Mickey's films and stuff that he's done. So they've made it like he's the movie star that he is and just had all his memorabilia in the queue. It looks really cute. Hopefully we'll be able to see that someday.
Yeah. And all the snacks and things like that they have in at the concession stand, the fake concession stand as you're going into the theater are amazing. The popcorn kernels that they have in there, most of them look like Mickey heads, which just blows my mind because it looks like real popcorn, but they're also Mickey heads. So
Yes.
There was some serious attention paid to those little details there. I'm really excited for the next time, whenever it is, we get a chance to go down to Disneyland to see that queue. That should be a lot of fun.
Yep. And along with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opening in Disneyland, they also reopened Toontown in Disneyland that had been under refurbishment. They did a whole bunch of upgrades and changes to the area there.
There's Centennial Park. There's a bunch of new play areas. There's some splash pads. There's a big picnic spot. There's a Chip and Dale's Gadget Coaster, which I think is new. It's a little mini coaster. It's not new.
That's been there.
I'm seeing a shake of the head. Again, it's nothing that I ever rode on, so I don't really remember. They do have some food options back there now. There's Cafe Daisy, which is a quick service spot, and then Pluto's Good Boy Grocers, which is a snack stand. They have Engineer Souvenirs. That's right, Engine Ear. Mickey and Minnie's houses are open again and have gotten an update. And my favorite ride, although I don't know that I can say it's my favorite ride in Toontown anymore because I love Runaway Railway, but Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin is back open as well.
Yep.
I love Roger Rabbit. Good times. I love that movie. I love that movie.
Another ride that opened on the right coast was the Tron Light Cycle Run. It opened in Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom officially on April 4th, but there was previews and soft openings throughout the month of March, and we actually got to ride Tron, so that was fun.
The one thing in the last 2 or 3 years that has actually happened in time for us to actually enjoy it at the parks. So this was a nice break from the normal. We'll talk a little bit more about it here in a couple weeks. We'll do a better trip report about all the things that we did while we were there in Florida several weeks ago and for our anniversary trip. But it was really neat. I'm so glad that we got to experience Tron and we actually got to ride it twice. So we'll share our thoughts later, but it was a fun ride.
With attractions opening, there is also attractions closing. And we said goodbye to Splash Mountain in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. The last ride of that was on January 22nd.
Goodbye, Song of the South, and hello, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I'm so glad for this retheme. I know Sterling loves Splash Mountain, and he was sad to see it go, but I just think the IP that is built on is old, tired,
Problematic.
and frankly racist, and I am glad to see it go away.
Yep.
As Walt said, the parks are never done. They always need to evolve. It was high time for that to happen. I'm really excited to see what happens with these spaces. And we also have just recently heard the final closing date for Splash Mountain in Disneyland as well, and that will be coming up here at the end of May.
Yes, indeed.
There's starting to be some rumors that they may retheme a large chunk of Frontierland to be kind of a more New Orleans Square kind of area, like a bigger expanse. We'll see what happens. I don't know that I would see that, but we'll see.
Oh, at Disney World? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
will see.
That's the rumors that have been kind of flying around in the last several days on the interwebs. So nothing official is announced, though.
No. There's a couple refurbs that are going on for rides on both coasts. The Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland reopened after several months of work. That reopened sometime in mid-March.
One of our daughter's absolutely favorite rides.
I
I'm
love
not saying
it
that.
too.
Yeah, exactly. I love it as well. So that's a fantastic one. And then Rockin Roller Coaster in Florida in Hollywood Studios went down for a major refurb towards the end of February. And holy cow, was that ride on the struggle bus in the last 4 to 6 weeks before that refurb happened. I'm kind of surprised they didn't just call it early because it was down for several days at a couple points. It was down for multiple hours almost every other day that they were trying to run it. The thing needed some serious help.
As much as I love Aerosmith, and I do, I would love to see this rethemed as... well, the Muppets. I mean,
yes,
Dr.
the Electric
Teeth
Mayhem.
and the Electric Mayhem. I think that would be an
be
amazing refurb in there.
That'd be so cool. That would be very cool. I mean, I think there's other artists in the Disney universe that we could see as well. But if you pivot that to be Muppets, that would be pretty dang cool because then you could have Muppets kind of covers of lots of different songs. That's actually a fantastic idea. I'm on board with that retheme. Again, this is a theory, just a fan theory.
Yep.
But Uncle
cool.
Bob Iger, if you're listening, that's a
Yes,
that's a really great idea.
There's another thing that we just missed while we were there this past March, and that was the opening of Roundup Rodeo Barbecue in Toy Story Land at Hollywood Studios. It opened March 23rd, and we were there on March 22nd.
Yes. We got to see the whole staff of the barbecue hanging around during the after hours event that we attended, making sure people didn't get into the restaurant.
Yes.
So,
and this is a sit-down quick service in Toy Story Land.
And the food looks pretty good from what we've seen online.
It does,
so,
yeah.
you know, now that we have annual passes, like had we had them then, we could have just swung by the park and And, anyhow, we've solved half of that problem now.
Yes.
And, annual passes we have.
There's been some other reopenings with regards to characters that have happened. Both Ariel's Grotto and Enchanted Tales with Belle reopened this quarter at Magic Kingdom, and they had been down for 3 years.
Since the pandemic happened. Yep. We also saw, thanks to the, I don't know if we're going to call the pandemic over or it's waning or going into endemic or however you want to phrase it. We've seen lots of direct character interactions come back in the Asia parks as well. So Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai all had character interactions come back in this quarter, and a bunch of mask and other restrictions have been lifted there. So good to see kind of Disney globally inching its way along as this thing finally, hopefully, kind of settles back down into the background noise of all the other things that can make humans sick. So, good to see progress, though. It's great to see. Ironically, now that we have annual passes, we could also take advantage of this next Disney news item that happened, is that the Galactic Star Cruiser there in Florida, well, it doesn't seem to be doing as well as they'd hoped, to the shock of not too many
people.
But annual pass holders now can receive a 30% discount on bookings, which I think is just on select cruises or sailings or however you want to say it. But you can save up to 30%. And this is the first discount we've seen for Galactic Star Cruiser, which we will remind you is upwards of $5,000 or $6,000 for 2 nights, a day and a half. I mean, even at $3,500 with that 30% discount, that is still a ton of money for a really short experience. So I don't know. The other interesting thing is they've been canceling some of those sailings, some of those opportunities, because there just wasn't enough demand to staff the thing. So,
and they did have a savings for DVC members. I think it was pretty much the same as the AP.
Okay.
30% off. And it was specific select sailings. Like you could use your points at a heavy discount to get in.
Got it.
Still not enough for us to do it. And we love Star Wars.
Yeah. Yes. I think we're not the kind of in-depth cosplay folks that may be the core audience of that, but it would be a really interesting experience though. I can't.
No, I would love to do it, but I can get a 7-night cruise for us for that same exact amount.
Exactly. That's my point. It's just the return on that investment just is not there.
Yeah.
It's not there.
On to other things.
Indeed.
The Disney dining plan still is not back, but Disney World did run a promotion in early January where you could get a dining promo card worth up to, I think, around $750 for your stay.
So it's not the official dining plan, but there was a way to get a meal credit package, if you will, depending on how long you were staying and where you were staying and all the rest of that stuff. That was up to $750. So will we see the dining plan ever return? I don't know. Maybe.
Who knows?
That is definitely up for grabs. And we've done the dining plan a couple times, but we've never really found it something that we have to do.
Yeah.
I think we just enjoy the flexibility and we just kind of do whatever. And we're blessedly not in a situation where we need to pre-budget our Disney experience like some other people need to do. And so we're able to kind of roll with the punches of, whatever we want to spend in the parks is what we spend in the park. So I think there's a large section of the population who would really appreciate having a prepaid package so they know exactly what they're getting into in terms of their vacation budget.
Yeah.
I think it would be great to have it come back, and we'll just have to see, if that ever happens. Hopefully we'll get some movement on that this year. We're seeing annual passes get refreshed and become available again in Disney World and Disneyland, and actually Disneyland Paris as well. Actually, Paris right now just ended their previous pass sales, and they're going to announce a revamp of that program here real soon, in quotation marks italics. No specific date on that, but we'll see how that goes. But
Yep. There's other perks that are coming back in Florida as well. Annual pass holders can enter parks without a reservation after 2 p.m. on weekdays. And I believe there's a similar program in California at Disneyland as well.
yes, there are. And I think it went live in California before it did in Florida. And we'll see. And I don't know if it's just, I can't remember what the press release and all the rest of that stuff is. If it's just weekdays, I think it may be like only Magic Kingdom is restricted on the weekends.
Yes.
I think the other parks are still available after 2 p.m.
Correct.
without a reservation.
Yep.
But Magic Kingdom is definitely the more high demand park. Yep. And AP holders will still need a reservation on the weekends, even if you're not going to be there till the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Overnight self-parking is free again for Walt Disney Hotel guests. That came back in early January. Really nice to see that some of the nickel and diming is being dialed back a bit there in Disney World. Look, it's still expensive, but
there's other nickel and diming that happens.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
next being Genie Plus, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With spring break, it got up to a new record high this past week of $35 per person.
And I think it's sold out too. And they had said like Genie Plus will never sell out, but
No,
it's
it was
sold
selling out before 10 a.m. on several days. So yeah, it's just insane. But Genie Plus is getting a perk, and that in Florida, you will get all of your attraction photos taken that day on rides. So if you have an experience on Tron or some of the other rides that have a mid-ride photo experience, and you have Genie Plus, you will get those photos without having to buy a photo pass. Now, this is confusing. It's different in Disneyland. In Disneyland, if you have Genie Plus for a day, you get all of your photo pass pics credited to you or available to you without the watermarks if you have Genie Plus. But that's only in Disneyland in California. So, well, Disneyland and California Adventure. But I would love to see that same thing extended to Florida. I don't know why they do so many things different between the two parks. It's just confusing, folks. But
Yes, including food. Why isn't the food in Disney World as good as it is in Disneyland?
right? Oh, boy.
Also, after hours events are back. Yay!
Yay!
I love that we've been able to do a couple of those.
Yeah.
They just happened to coincide with times that we were down there. Like we didn't set our vacations because of the after hours. It just happenstance was the same time frame.
Yeah, but these are typically really amazing events with limited availability in terms of how many people are actually in the parks. Your ride queues are typically very low, although the one we did a month or so ago in Hollywood Studios still had fairly significant lines, which was just interesting. I think it was because spring break timing was starting to happen and there was just a lot more people there. But we definitely saw more lines than we've heard about at the after hours events in Florida this year. So where most of the stuff at Hollywood Studios, you could like walk on to Rise of Resistance and pretty much walk on to anything. And when we were there, it was 45 minutes to an hour for Rise, for Slinky Dog Dash, for a couple other things. So that was, it was more busy than we had experienced previously, but we still had a good time that night.
We did, yeah. Now for media that came out, some of the big ones are Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That came out February 17th, and yes, we saw it, of course.
Yes, that was an interesting movie.
Not the top one.
No, not the top one,
Interesting story.
but we were entertained.
Yes.
And that's I think we just go into these movies and experiences going like, yeah, I could nitpick everything apart, but I just want to have fun and enjoy it. So, it wasn't prime amazing cinema, but I had fun. It was enjoyable.
Yeah. We had 2 Star Wars series get another season this quarter. That was both The Bad Batch got season 2 and The Mandalorian season 3 started.
Yes. And I think The Bad Batch at this point is all out of the new series or new season. Sorry, I went UK on you there. And then Mandalorian season 3 is just about to wrap up, I think, in the next week or so.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I hope Grogu and everybody else is okay in the end. And then the last item we wanted to touch on was the passing of Disney legend, animator, and Imagineer Rolly Crump, who passed away in mid-March at the age of 93. If you don't know who Rolly Crump was, he was one of just the premier Imagineers that Walt relied on when he was building things in the parks and for the World's Fair. He was kind of the creative mind behind the Enchanted Tiki Room, a lot of the design, the tikis themselves were from Rolly. Rolly Crump also designed the facade for It's a Small World and the clock tower that's out there in front. He was part of the brains behind some of the more, we'll call them creepy and odd elements that we see in the Haunted Mansion. And he was a designer behind some of the experiences in Epcot, namely the Land and the Wonders of Life pavilions. So he is just a true Disney legend. Like that is the right title. And it's sad to see him go, but it's great to know that we will be able to enjoy his contributions to the Disney universe for many, many years to come.
Yes. Now, all this is only some of what happened this past quarter for Disney and Disney stuff happenings. We just kind of touched on some of the major things.
Yeah.
And coming up next quarter, we already know there's a bunch of stuff coming with regards to the parks, the cruise line, video games, entertainment, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, lots of good things coming in the wonderful world of Disney here in Q2 that we are excited to see. And we even are happy to announce our first international trip that is happening here in Q2. And that will be Alicia and Caitlin's good friend, Tanaya. They're going to Disneyland Paris for a graduation present. So I am jealous and will forever be another thing down on the list against Alicia. She has 2 more cruises than me, and she will have at least 1 more Disneyland Paris visit than me. So
I love you so very much.
Love you too.
Well, we are not affiliated with Disney and we are not travel agents. We do like to offer our opinions and suggestions, and we do recommend working with a travel agent to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experience, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
You can follow us on social at Our Mousecapades. Please take a second and rate and review us in your podcast app. That really helps people find us, and it's just a nice thing to do, honestly.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.